Hey everybody, welcome back to Payne-ted Plastic. Brandon here with episode 3 of our master grade Zaku build. Yeah, this is episode 2, so I'm an idiot. This episode we're going to do some greeblies. Right, we're going to add some little details to the kit here and there. I have started disassembling the kit already. Just kind of broke it down into the core pieces. Eventually this will all get taken apart, right, for the paint. All of those spare pieces that you have, keep all of them, because you never know when you'll be able to use it later, right? I love adding little details to things, and that's what this episode's all about, right? The greeblies. So let me flip the camera around and we will get started adding some greeblies to this kit. Be right back. All right, everybody, let's do some greeblies. I love this part. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole build. It's just adding the little things, you know. Had a rummage around in some old kits, and I found a few pieces. These are vents from a I can't remember, from a Gundam. I can't remember which one, but yeah, little vent plates. Thought they would be cool. These are pieces from a Star Wars kit. Same thing here. I think this is, I don't know. They're old kits, right? Old kits I've got in a box, and I just pulled out some leftover pieces and thought they would be cool. Got some little things here. Got some little guns. I think this is from like an AT-AT, maybe? A really tiny little AT-AT. I think those were the chin guns, maybe? I can't remember. I don't know. Feet or a landing gear for a Millennium Falcon, right? Whoops. Got actually I've got 2 of those, and I was debating on how I wanted it to look. I'm not, and I still haven't really decided. Do I want the end poked out like that, or do I want to sand it off? And I've got a bunch of these. You know, the Falcon I built, I decided to make it. I decided to make it in flight, so I didn't need the landing gear, right? So yeah, I've got a bunch of these over there in a box, but I don't know. I decide which one I want to use, but I kind of like those. So yeah, just got a couple of things here. Got one of these little things, right, like this. Yep. And we'll kind of figure out what we're going to use as we go. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the horn, right, for the helmet. That's the one that came with the kit, right? Doesn't look bad. It's a little puny, in my opinion. And then there's also an alternate head, which I don't have it around, but it doesn't have this slot. So if you didn't want any horn at all, they do have an alternate head. But I like putting the horn on. I think it gives it a little something extra, but I didn't like this one, right? So I had done a larger Zaku. I can't remember what scale it was now. It was big a while back, and I did not use the horn for whatever reason. So I had a spare horn from that Zaku. Now it wasn't shaped like this. I actually used, I took a pencil, right, and wrapped my sandpaper around it, and I just went to town. I sanded this out, I sanded that out, I sanded this out, right. Just kind of sculpted it into this shape, which, you know, gives it a little, the original just came straight down and it went out and around. Didn't have any of this embellishment on it, so just added a little flavor to it, right? And then I carved down the end, right, because this was big and long. Carved down the end a little bit so that it would fit into this head, right? And now we end up with that, which technically, I guess, not a greebly, maybe more of a customization, I guess, but I'll take it, right? Looks cool. I think it looks cool. And it adds a whole lot of height to the head. So, yep, that's the first thing I did. Sorry I didn't film any of that, but it was really kind of, oh, hey, look what this is, and just sort of playing with it and figuring out if it would even work. So, went from this, right, tiny little horn to enormous, right? So yeah, that's one thing that we've got there. In terms of actual greeblies, I've got a few things for the shoulder pauldron. I wanted to use one spike, right? I do want that because that's kind of the Zaku look, right? It's got spikes on his pauldron. But for these two, that's where the Millennium Falcon landing gear came in, because I thought that might look neat. Just, cover that hole basically with that. Now again, I haven't really decided. Do I want the spike? I mean, it kind of looks like I don't know, like a radar dish or something. I don't know. I don't know if I like that or if I like. Let me get this other one that's stuck. Or if I like that better, right? Just a flat kind of piece there that I could detail up, and I don't know. I'm still on the fence a little bit about that, but we'll see. I can always cut that off and sand it down later if I decide I don't like it, right? Nothing's permanent. Everything's redoable. And then for the little guns, I kind of thought they'd be neat on the shield, right? And also for the shield, I want to use these extra spikes and maybe put one. I think I kind of want to put one right on top. I think that might look neat, right? Just, I mean, it's not going to stay, but just kind of up there somewhere. But the guns, I took my pin vise and drilled a little hole, and we'll do the other one. I'll show you that. Drilled a little hole, and they fit right in just like that. Hope I'm showing you guys all this, right? And I thought that would be neat because when he swings the shield up in front of him, it'd be more armaments, right? And what I was planning is putting both of them on the bottom, so you'd kind of have, that kind of effect, if you can see. I don't know if that's even, yeah, something like that. So how do we do that? That was really, really easy. It's literally just a pin vise, right? And I've marked where I want the holes to be, kind of just judged from down here. I've kind of made them in line with these vertical posts, right? And then really, really slowly, just kind of work your way through the plastic. And there we have it. All the way through. Just like that. We got two little gun holes, and they will go like that, and like that, right? Two little cannons right on the bottom of the shield, and they're not going to stay in because the holes are a little bit too big for the post. But yeah, I think that looks kind of neat. And like I said, when he swings the shield up, now he's got two more guns, right? Kind of neat. I don't know. And then, like I said, when we paint all this, they'll all get painted to have a little detail in them. So, and then, like I said, the other thing I wanted to do was put a cap here. That's going to be a little bit tricky because I want it dead center, right? I'm going to take a ruler, and as straight as I can make it, I just want to put a line right across. And that was not straight at all. That was not even close to being straight. Let's try that again. Yeah, let's do this. Try that again. This time straight. Not like that. There we go. Just put a line across. Right, there we go. That looks pretty straight. Now I'm going to connect the corners right in the middle. All right, and that X should be dead center, right? The reason I did that is because these things have a little post. I don't know if you can even, yeah, you can see that little post. And when I drill the hole, I want the hole to be in the center so the post can go down in and that can sit right on top. Right. Originally I thought about just sanding that off, but then I said, you know what, that'll make a perfect little peg. Right, I can just peg that in. The downside is that my pin vise does not have a bit big enough for that post, so I'm gonna have to use a hand drill. That's as close as I can get, and it's just a little small. So I will do that off camera, and we'll do that at a later date. But yeah, so that's the two, and I'm also gonna paint these separately and then install them once everything's painted. I think it'll be easier to paint these little guns, you know, if they're not installed. So that's pretty much the shield. Taking care of those three things will go on the shield. And then we may do some other stuff when it comes time to paint, as far as like damage or, you know, stuff like that. What else was there? Those seems to me those. Oh yeah, the little waist piece. I took one of these vents from an old Gundam kit and sanded down the back. You can see the back had a bunch of grooves that it attached to. Sanded all those down, kind of shaped it a little bit, made it a little narrower. And I want that, let's see, this goes like that. And I want this something like that, right? Sit right in, sit right down on that. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to start with some, oh, I didn't even tell you what yeah, I've got my glues over to the side. This is the extra thin and just regular thick glue, right? They're exactly the same thing. They're both welding cements. This one's just, as the name suggests, extra thin, right? Dries faster, less working time. Takes longer to dry, gives you a little more time to work the piece. So ordinarily I use both, right? I'll use the thick to set the piece because it'll give me time to kind of move it around, get it where I want it. And then I'll use the thin just around the edges to kind of lock it in place. So that's what we're going to do right now. Take a little of the thick cement. Like I said, they're exact same thing. They're welding cements. So they both are going to do the exact same job. I'm going to put a little bit on the piece and set this in place. And like I said, we'll have a minute or so to kind of work it around, get it where we want it, give it a little push down, make sure we get it right where we want it. The way this glue works is it actually melts the plastic a bit, and the two plastics will literally weld together. So it really forms a nice strong bond. I think that's it though. Right? Just like that. Now there's a little vent detail. And we'll take our extra thin. I just got all this stuff right off camera. Extra thin, and just go around, just around the edge. It'll suck up underneath and actually glue the piece. You don't have to really glob it on. But just like that. And that piece should be fairly well stuck at this point. Right? Alright, let's do the pauldron. I think I'm going to do the pointy one first. I'm not sure which one I like better. But anyway, get a little thick. And again, it's just going to be kind of a dab. The top and the bottom. This is just to give it something to hold on to while we position it. Right, and just like that. I think it needs to come over a little bit. Something like that. What do you think, guys? I don't know. I don't know if I like that pointy bit or not, but I'm going to leave it for the time being. Take a little extra thin and lightly right around these edges. Right. I got a little gap right there. That might need, there's a little teeny gap. I don't know if you can even see it on this edge. That may need an extra bit of glue once it's dry just to fill that in, but we'll see. Once the glue's dried, it may fill it in on its own. For the other one, just like before, get a dab of fat cement. Just a dab. And position that. And I want to kind of mimic what's on the other side. And grab our thin. Same thing. Right around the edges. All right. So, let's see. Yeah, the pauldron, this will be the front. There'll be a spike here. All right. And either there'll be no spike on both sides or just a spike on the front. I haven't decided if I like that or not. I don't know. This one actually had a spike originally. And then I said, you know what? It might look cool to just be a cap. You know, like there's, I don't know. I don't want to say hubcap. That sounds stupid. But yeah, so I cut that off, knowing that I could make another one if it turned out that I like that. But, you know, seeing this, I think I like just the shaved. I may end up chopping this off. What is left? I think that might be everything that I kind of pulled out for right now. Like I said, I'm going to do the guns. You know, I had an idea, and I may still do this. I had an idea to put metal bars on either side of the shield. I may do that. If I decide to do that, I'll film it. But I haven't decided if I really want to yet. I think the guns on the bottom and the spike on the top might be enough for the shield. I don't want to overdo it, you know. Do more on one part than I do on the whole rest of the kit. So so that is it for Greeblies for right now. I'm going to let all this stuff dry and give it another look. Make sure I like it. If I like it, we're going to go right into priming. If I don't like it, then we're going to figure out what I do like and do that. All right, everybody. Here's the pieces that we put the greebles on yesterday. I did make a couple of changes. The guns, remember I was going to use these little guns. Yeah, changed my mind. So I ended up using the metal rod that I was going to do here on the sides. And all that is just some plain old just metal wire, right? Cut it, bend it, shave it, stuck it in the holes. Got the spike glued on top, right? For the pauldron, I did end up shaving the point off. I just think it looks better as kind of a cap than, you know, than having all that other stuff on there. So that's how that turned out. And then that'll have, you know, of course that'll have a spike on the top, right? So that'll be the pauldron. Got the horn glued in place, and then the backpack. I'm not sure about this one still. That one may come off. I don't know. It doesn't sit. It doesn't really sit flush, so it's kind of cocked at an angle. I don't know if you can even tell on video, but it doesn't sit flush. So that one may come off. We'll see. Pretty happy with the center one though. I think that looks pretty sharp. And then the I don't know what you want to call this, the skirt, the front of the skirt. I'm really happy with this one. This one turned out pretty well. Can't wait to get some paint on it, and I'll probably give this a kind of metallic-y look because it kind of has a vent, metallic vent look to it. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's all the greebles. I think they turned out pretty good. Like I said, there's not very many, but this kit's kind of small, so I didn't want to overdo it for the greebles. But yep, give these things a try. You know, if you got spare parts from other kits, cut them up, have some fun, reshape them, sand them down, do all that stuff. It's a ton of fun, and it really adds some detail to your kit. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for episode 3. We'll start getting some paint on these things. We'll do some priming and some base coating. So until then, bye.